Good to have you on SpaceX Daily, episode 20. It's July 2nd, 2026, and I'm Patrick in Vancouver. From Starbase to orbit, here's your SpaceX rundown. The 1000th Merlin 1D engine marks how Falcon reuse has turned repeated flights into the main driver of engine reliability gains. SpaceX has now completed acceptance testing on the 1000th Merlin 1D built for Falcon first stages. Reusability of those engines has allowed post-flight inspections that feed directly into design tweaks for higher reliability. The Milestone sits inside the ongoing Falcon cadence that last appeared in coverage on July 1. Listeners should watch how the same reuse data pipeline later informs Raptor iteration cycles. Reddit users noted the Milestone as a quiet but steady reliability marker, with comments focused on how post-flight inspections have iteratively improved component life without major redesigns. Starship 40 completed a 60-second, 6-engine static fire at the Massey site. Remember, the show covered the Starship flight test campaign yesterday, where booster catch and full reuse remain the central goals. The test length matches the profile needed to clear the vehicle for Flight 13. This firing directly checks the 6-engine stack before the next flight attempt. Observers will next look for any pad or vehicle anomalies reported after the burn. Observers on X tracked the static fire video frame by frame, confirming all 6 engines reached full duration with clean plume behavior and no obvious anomalies at the test stand. EchoStar satellite TV and wireless units filed Chapter 11, executing a prepackaged plan after spectrum sales to SpaceX and AT&T. The filings clear debt tied to the abandoned 5G network and allow early repayment. Spectrum assets transferred to SpaceX add capacity that could support Starlink direct-to-cell expansion. Next steps center on regulatory approval of the asset transfers. ULA's final Atlas V lifted off at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time from Cape Canaveral Pad 41 on the LEO Atlas 8 mission. The flight was also the last Atlas V 551 configuration. The payload supports Amazon's broadband constellation, a direct competitor to Starlink. The launch removes one more legacy vehicle from the manifest, while Falcon cadence continues. Space enthusiasts shared side-by-side photos of the final Atlas V rollout and the active Falcon pads, underscoring the generational shift at the Cape. Blue Origin adopted a hybrid rebuild plan for Launch Complex 36 1 month after the New Glenn anomaly. The approach aims to restore pad capability faster than a full rebuild. The effort keeps a second U.S. heavy lift option in play while SpaceX Starship testing proceeds at Starbase. Recovery milestones will be tracked against the end-of-year target. A lawsuit filed over SpaceX's Texas land acquisition alleges the company's activities will harm local wildlife. The complaint centers on habitat claims near Starbase expansion zones. Any ruling could affect permitting timelines for additional launch infrastructure. Observers await the next court filing for schedule impact. A SpaceX Falcon launch is scheduled to cross skies visible from Phoenix this evening. The trajectory takes the vehicle southeast from Vandenberg, producing a visible plume under clear conditions. This continues the Falcon cadence tracked on July 1, where annual launch rate limits remain the open question. Viewers should check local weather and exact T0 timing for best sighting. Florida Today reports on the SpaceX and ULA rocket launch schedule in Florida. A possible SpaceX Falcon mission is listed from Cape Canaveral. It would fly alongside a ULA flight. The schedule reflects continued high-cadence operations at the Eastern Range. Falcon reuse counts keep rising. This keeps the annual ceiling question live from yesterday's coverage. Operators will monitor range availability for any same-day slips. Local Florida spotters posted launch window weather models for the possible Cape Canaveral mission, highlighting a narrow evening window before Independence Day restrictions. Worth keeping an eye on, the lawsuit against SpaceX's Texas land purchase claims the company's expansion will damage local wildlife habitats near Starbase. The complaint seeks to block or modify permits tied to additional launch infrastructure. Resolution hinges on court review of environmental impact data and any required mitigation measures. On the AI front, SpaceX denied a Wall Street Journal report that it had shown an AI handset prototype ahead of the June IPO. The statement clarifies that no such device was presented to investors during pre-IPO discussions. Any future handset work would tie into Starlink direct-to-cell capacity planning already underway. From an engineering standpoint, the 1000th Merlin 1D acceptance test illustrates how reuse converts each flight into a data source that narrows the gap between raw material cost and finished engine price. A new Merlin starts as forgings, machined parts, and turbopump assemblies whose input metals and propellants represent only a small fraction of final unit cost. Each recovered engine returns with measured wear on seals, injectors, and turbines. Those measurements drive targeted material or geometry changes that extend life without wholesale redesign. Over hundreds of flights, the cumulative effect has raised the engine's demonstrated reliability, while the per-flight amortization of the original hardware continues to fall. The same inspection to improvement loop is now being applied to Raptor, where the open question is how quickly flight data can compress the idiot index on the larger, higher thrust engine. And a quick market note, SPCX closed at $157.54, down 0.2%. Before we go, Starship 40's static fire keeps the Flight 13 timeline on track, while Falcon reuse data keeps feeding reliability gains. That's the day at SpaceX. That's a wrap. SPCX is trading at $157.54, down 0.2%. If you're new here, subscribe, and this briefing finds you every day. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. Unintended Consequences, True Stories of Good Intentions That Backfired. Find every show free at naranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.